Hi guys, welcome back to another Dirty Boots video. So today, in our kind of specific videos playlist, we're going to look at another piece of equipment. Last time we had a look at my bushcraft tools. We looked at my Bushcraft survival knife, my hatchet, and so yeah, there's been a bit of an update. My Bushcraft knife, I really love it. It's fantastic. It is one of the easiest knives to sharpen I've ever had. It's fantastic for bushcraft, really affordable, full tang, and it's quite a thick blade, which is nice. However, although I found you could get it razor sharp, I haven't found any huge problems with it, but I found that actually it does blunt fairly quickly if you're using it for quite strenuous, and I mean like the most strenuous kind of things, so batoning logs endlessly for a whole kind of day in the forest, or well, put it this way, I think if I was to bring that on a camping trip with me and use it for all of the things I need a knife for, I don't think it would be up to scratch by the end. Might use it in the future to kind of cut through some fabric to make some charcloth or something, but for now it really wasn't the choice for me for an all-rounder, but it is a really good knife, so I want to kind of keep that clear. But yeah, so today I have with me a new purchase. This is the Marbles Mikata green handle fixed blade knife. Yes, that's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it? I believe that's what it's called. I'll double check at the end of filming and make sure and put it in the description. But yeah, this is my new bushcraft knife. So this is kind of, this is more expensive than the Bushcraft knife. It is around, I think I paid maybe £80 for it, maybe slightly less. But I needed a new knife because I had that really small Boca Magnum one, and I had the Bushcraft one, and they just both weren't durable enough for what I needed. Both fantastic knives, just have different purposes, really, I think. Maybe I got a kind of slightly defective one. I don't think so though. I think they are just better suited for other things. So yeah, so I'm going to show you everything we've got. So this is everything we have. It is a lovely leather sheath, really nice leather, and actually very nice stitching. I've forgotten the name for it, but we have through the entire sheath a kind of middle bit of leather, which means that the blade isn't going to cut through the stitches and lead to problems. And it's very durable. I've never felt such a durable leather sheath for a knife before, ever. I mean, this is really solid. This is really well built, and the stitching goes all the way down, and that's a kind of belt loop. I love this belt loop. It's really easy to kind of carry around. I barely even feel it. This is like a very heavy knife, I will say. That's the one thing, because it's obviously got this big brass kind of butt to the handle. But yeah, and it's quite funny actually. It looks quite pixely, the handle. Like, you might be thinking, if you're watching this, maybe it's just the resolution, but it's not. It's actually, I believe this is kind of, I think it's a polymer grip, but it's almost like fiberglass, I think. So I mean, the advantages to that are if it gets wet, it's actually really easy to grip. It's very durable, more durable than anything natural, like wood or bone or antler. For those of you who don't know, antler and bone can split over time because it's obviously a kind of more natural material, and it can, if it gets wet and dries, it can kind of become easier to break or damage. So yeah, there's just a simple kind of popping closing thing here that's actually very easy to undo. And yeah, so here is the knife. So this is, let's see, D2 steel. Obviously that's a very good steel for knives. For those of you that don't know, that's a great steel. It's high carbon steel. However, I haven't found any rust on it yet. You do need to keep this oiled after you use it, obviously, otherwise it will rust, and quite quickly it could get very damaged. But the advantages of high carbon steel are improved toughness and edge retention. So yeah, this is it's almost like a kind of Bowie style knife. You can see here it's got this kind of cross guard. A lot of knives you'll see kind of just have this one and then they don't have that. That's more of the kind of Bowie knife, but this one has a kind of more cross shape. But yeah, this is fantastic. The edge is really, really sharp. This is a really, really well built knife. Obviously you're going to need to keep sharpening it. This is, I'd say, one of the heaviest knives I've held. I think it's a really, really, I mean, for its size, I have heavier knives obviously, but it's a very, very heavy handle, which is obviously can be good, but also it's harder to carry around with you. But yeah, that's basically it. It's got a really, really nice thick spine to the knife. It eventually gets thinner nearer the top, you can see though, which makes it really good. It's got a nice point on it here if you wanted to use it for kind of whittling wood, I guess. But no, it just feels really, really, really well built, and it's really nice to grip. I feel I can kind of hold that and it's not going to go anywhere. Obviously some bushcraft knives have kind of bushcraft knives have saw teeth along the bottom here. This one doesn't, but I prefer it that way, to be fair. It's really, really nicely kind of designed blade. You can see all these kind of flat surfaces make a really nice design. But yeah, I'd say this is one of the best knives I've ever kind of tried out for bushcraft. It's a really, really durable knife I've experienced so far. It's got a lot of good reviews. But yeah, no, if you guys want to check this one out, I would certainly recommend it. But yeah, like I said, if you do buy this, just don't forget to oil it after use, otherwise it could rust. But yeah, that's basically it. So the other thing we need to mention is it comes with what looks like an eraser. It's not. This is a very small whetstone. So this is a kind of abrasive stone that you can kind of pour some water over, and essentially you use it like this to sharpen your knife. Now I actually have never seen a sheath that has that included, which I think is really, really cool. I mean, I've seen a lot of sheaths to knives that have kind of ferro rod holders, and I think that's really, really good. However, to be honest, I always carry my ferro rod. It's on a piece of paracord, and I find it really, really easy to transport. So I don't really need it in my knife sheath. I can just put it on my belt or something. But I actually have never, I always seem to kind of misplace or sometimes break my sharpening stones, and this is just really, really useful because it's very well protected. It's not going anywhere. It's the no movement once it's in, and it's just really, really useful to have a bit of a have something to sharpen your knife blade with, because especially if you're out for a long time, it's inevitably going to, the blade is inevitably going to get slightly duller, slightly more dull. But yeah, even doing that for a couple of times just to demonstrate, it already feels a bit sharper. This is much better used with water. This is a whetstone, so hence the name. Use some water and then, or some oil. You could use some oil, and then you could sharpen your blade. And once you're done, you can just pop it back in there and use it again next time you need it. But no, I think that's a really, really cool feature to the knife, and that this came with it. This was included in the price. The knife arrived kind of already in the sheath. But yeah, so that's one of the coolest things I found about this knife. I would certainly recommend this. I think it's a fantastic bushcraft knife. I mean, if this doesn't really speak to you, or you don't really like the design, or you're thinking maybe that's slightly too big or too expensive, I think it's more about the kind of the design of the knife you need to be thinking about. So you need a thick tang, you need a kind of high carbon steel blade preferably. You need some kind of handle that's not going to wear massively over time, and you just need to make sure that it's kind of going to be durable enough, because the last thing you want is your knife breaking on you. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this equipment review, and yeah, make sure to go and check this out if you're interested in a bushcraft knife. We're not sponsored or anything, but I would definitely recommend this. Thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned for more Dirty Boots bushcraft content.